With graduation fast approaching, many seniors are planning on purchasing an AU yearbook for the first time. While most students don't think about the Talon until their senior year is upon them, every year a dedicated team of editors, photographers, and other crew members document both the significant and insignificant aspects of life here at AU. Joining me to talk about that job is the Talon Editor-in-Chief, Halley Ofner. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you coming. How did you first get interested in joining the yearbook?
Well, like many people when they first arrive at AU as a freshman, I had no friends and really had nowhere else to go.
I can relate to that.
I really enjoyed my yearbook experience, the limited experience I had in high school, and found some random connection with a friend's RA that was the editor-in-chief at the time, Chief Halley, and came to a meeting and I was working on the PR staff at that time, which was a lot of fun. I ended up applying for a smaller position on staff for my sophomore year and ended up in the PR director role, actually, which was pretty huge for a sophomore, and especially working with the equipment that we had. I'd never seen anything like that for my small town. So it was really incredible. Was a PR director until my junior year, and I'd actually said in my interview my freshman year that I wanted to one day be editor-in-chief, and found the notes later the editor-in-chief had written, haha. I kept that and am now editor-in-chief, so it's been a great advancement for me.
So you did yearbook in high school.
Yes.
Did you find the experience there carried over well? I mean, is it like more of the same, or did you feel like it was a whole new world, the yearbook here at AU?
It was a whole new world. My yearbook in my high school was 23 pages, I believe. That covered kindergarten through senior year. One color spread. We weren't allowed to design our own cover, and we had one computer that we only used to type out Word documents, cut and pasted our own pictures and put them in. Very little copy. Here we just have so much equipment. We had one camera that none of the students were allowed to touch, and it was with film. Here, wow. They had already switched over to digital Canon 1Ds, 10Ds, and I'm like, I don't want to touch that. Those lenses themselves are like $3,000. Right. I don't have that much. I go to AU. Yeah. I'm broke. So it's just the way nothing transferred over. I was learning the process over again. I guess the one thing that did kind of relate was the staff in general and how everyone was working to this one common goal of creating this historical document, rather, and that was really cool. But everything else, the technology, the way it was set up, having a theme, I never would have thought of that in high school, and that's a huge part now. So
do you find that the yearbook's sort of like the official documentary source? I mean, it's documenting the whole year. Do you find that people often will request old yearbooks as sort of references back to old, because you have every yearbook from like 1920s, right?
1927 was the first yearbook. It was called the AU Cola at the time. I do not remember why. Actually, I don't think I know why at all. But it is really cool with black and white photos with one girl that's like, it's really exciting. People should come by and check them out because they're really cool. The only book I don't think we have is 1986.
The year I was born.
Me too. I know. I'm like, ah. But the library does have every copy. It's something that the president of the university demands to have every year, and the library needs 2 copies, one for the archives and one for some other private stash. I'm not 100% sure why they need 2 copies, but they do get 2 copies. And I do consider it the official historical document only because I would. But it does.
No bias there at all.
Not at all, none. But I do think that it is the only thing that really brings everything together from the student perspective. There are the newspapers, which I think the Eagle does an excellent job of covering on-campus news, but what about the big events and really getting in there and student feedback and several student feedback. We have several quotes in there, so I think it's just a different angle from covering the whole thing.
Definitely, definitely. What were some of the most surprising things that you learned through working at the Talon? I mean, is there one thing that stands out, like, boy, you know, I never expected that I'd be doing that or working with that? You cover the technological, you know, disparities between the yearbook at your high school and the one here, but are there things that, like, wow, I didn't really think that I'd be, you know, getting hands-on experience with that?
Well, it really, I mean, leading a staff was something that is something very important to me, and getting to meet, I've met so many different people from our campus through taking photos in different classes or anything, but I really do, I mean, the technology is pretty cool too. We have this huge screen in our office, but also the InDesign program that we use to design everything is so cool. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. It's really awesome.
InDesign is a good program.
Yeah.
If I wanted to get involved, either as, what are some of the roles that I could do? Just, I don't have a lot of yearbook experience, but if I really wanted to get involved, it's something really interesting to me. What are some of the things that I could do?
Well, Jason.
Infomercial.
Yay. We do have 3 general areas that we have in our office, and it's really photography, copy, and public relations. But within those, we encourage all members of staff to really switch around. We have a lot of PR members that also take photos, which is great because they get to use this equipment, which is really intimidating at first, and then it turns into a skill. But we do have the public relations, which are flyers, designing banners, emailing, typical PR stuff. It really is exciting. I'm not making it sound thrilling right now, but clearly I did it for 3 years. I must have enjoyed it to some extent. Photography is another big one, and then copy is just writing the stories, but we do encourage people for layout and design experience as well.
So I was talking to you earlier about this, about possibly I was in photo, and you wanted me to come and take pictures for the yearbook.
Yes.
And she was telling me the list, you were telling me the list of things that you get for being a photographer, and some of them are really awesome. So could you share some of those? And if you have any experience in photo, I would highly recommend that you take advantage of this. List some of those things off, because they're really awesome.
Well, you do come to the weekly meetings, which are exciting, but you get to use the equipment, which is really expensive, really nice Canon equipment. It's top of the line, and we try to update every year, our lenses and everything. But we have, the end of every semester, we have a banquet, a staff banquet, and we try to give a staff gift as well. This year, I don't know if any of my staff members will see this, but we're getting like Timbuktu bags, which are really nice. Last year we had iPods because we had a lot of ad sales and increase there, so we had a little extra money to play around with, so everyone got the shuffles with the 2007 Talon and Focus written on it. I try to have food every other week, or candy or something in the office. I mean, our computers are all the brand new Mac computers. We actually just bought another one, luckily, because ad sales, again, were very successful. So you get all of that. I'm trying to think of what other perks.
Well, plus the access to the events, which is the coolest thing.
The concerts. We went at Matt Pond last night. Yeah. One of our photographers got the pass, which was really great. And they were like, I was right there. The kid was like shocked. It was amazing. And we also have weekly prizes for staff members that really kind of go out of their way. We have gift cards to Chipotle, Starbucks, and Best Buy, which is, some people are like, yay. So
I really feel like it's often overlooked in terms of ways to get involved, the yearbook. So
unfortunately, yes, but we're here.
Excellent. Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been very helpful and glad to know. And take advantage of those resources. We'll have more information on our blog, Year to Date, at Year to Date show at WordPress. Thanks so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. When we come back, Year to Date correspondent Rachel Monin checks in with Alpha Phi Omega Community Service Chair Jen Dearden. Stay tuned.